sannyasis are spiritual aspirants who are looking forward. They are looking forward to something all the time. They are not supposed to look backward. Because looking backward is a kind of thing that keeps you stationed at a place. It keeps you sticking to a place. It binds you. So sannyasis are advised to prevent this binding and continuously going forward. So when somebody asks sannyasis or monks, Swamiji or Maharajji, which place do you belong to and what is your background, they are reluctant to think about it. Not because they have done something wrong in their past that they want to avoid, no. But because of the fact that they want to go forward. That is the reason sannyasis, or for that matter, every person or every spiritual aspirant, whether he is in this garb or not, he is supposed to continuously look forward and go forward. Because looking back is meant for learning our lessons. Looking back is only meant for taking our lessons from whatever we did in the past, whatever good and bad mistakes or good work we have done in the past, that we should take a lesson from. But most of us, what happens, are stuck in the past. Most of us are largely bound in the past. So that's why their feet are bound. They cannot move forward because they cannot lift their foot. You see, if you are stuck to say in a mud, so you cannot walk. It's like that muddy past that you are stuck into. And then when somebody asks you, "Hey, get up, come here," you cannot because your feet are stuck in that muddy past. And you are so much attached to it. You see, that muddy past also, you are so much attached. It is dirty mud. Why dirty? You may not have done something very bad or something, but it is a past. It is of no use to you. And that's why that which is not of any relevance, that which is not of any use, is dirty, is muddy. Is it not? Mud is of no use. That is the reason sannyasis are not supposed to look back in their past. So when your coordinator was asking me, Swamiji, what is your background? What have you done in the past? So I had to divulge a little bit of it, just for the sake of your satisfaction. So then I told him that 24 years back, I was doing IT job only, and I had done my electronics and telecom graduation, and then I did IT advanced computing course, post-graduation, and then I did IT job. Like this, I was telling him. Then he asked me another question. Then how did you come from that IT to this life? So then I thought that this IT, your IT, is information technology. And my IT, I did not change, actually speaking. I am also in IT, but my IT means immanence and transcendence. You see, so you are in only information technology, but I am into something which is inside that information also, which is immanent. Immanent is what? That which is inside it, which is immanent in everything. But in spite of being immanent, it is transcendent also. In spite of being that information, it is IT. So that is what I believe. I am in this IT. I did not leave any IT. I am still in IT. Only thing, my definition of IT or my association with IT is more intense actually than what yours is. Because I have all the knowledge of IT that you people have, but now more than that. Okay. So though of course, I'm not in touch with your IT for last more than 20 years, but still, it is just a matter of some revision. If you just go through a few pages, you will remember all the files will be open. They are in some corner of the hard disk. You just have to click that file, and it opens and everything starts running. So that is what I was telling, that the topic that we are going to discuss today here, in spite of being in Information Technology Institute, while we are discussing about mastery on the mind. So these are very jazzy words. Swami Vivekananda's blueprint for focused and fulfilled life. They are very glamorous and fancy words, to me at least. To me, simply it means how I can somehow get friendship with my mind and try to understand my mind. Because mastery and all these things are too high an ideal actually. Because my experience of 25 years, last 25 years, I tell you, not in the sense that I want to frighten you, but in a sense that I want to disillusion you, not to frighten you, but to disillusion you. That these words are very nice when on the paper. This Mindscape Mastery and all, but mastery on mind. Many great sages also. They struggled and struggled and struggled, and they after their great struggle also, they felt this mind is something really we are unable to understand. One day Swami Vivekananda also told, I have done so much tapas in my life. Now, Swami Vivekananda is a world-renowned person who understands the very depths of human mind, who could go to the core of human mind and understand weaknesses and strengths of anybody and everybody. But in spite of that, that very Swami Vivekananda once told that after doing years of tapas, I am still unable to understand human mind. This is what Swami Vivekananda's words are. So human mind getting mastery on it, and he used to always feel that his master, Sri Ramakrishna, was the only one on earth who had completely mastered this mind. Because Swami Vivekananda used to say, Sri Ramakrishna can practically, what you say, like उसको ये बोलते हैं ना, रोटी के लिए ये आटा पीसते हैं ना, आटा ये करके उसको क्या, kneading dough. So that thing, like that, Sri Ramakrishna could mold the people's mind. So Swamiji used to say, only my master, Sri Ramakrishna, was the only person I have met in my life who could do that. You see, that is what. So only probably Sri Ramakrishna could talk on this topic. Mindscape mastery. We are just mere, very tiny people. We have just begun to understand what mind is. You see, and this focused and fulfilled life, we say. So fulfilled life. That's what again. Everybody's definition of fulfilled life is different. So what Swami Vivekananda would suggest or define this fulfilled life, and focus would be rather a means to this fulfilled life than the end. It won't be a goal to achieve focus, but focus is the means to achieve this fulfillment. So what Swamiji's blueprint is? To achieve focus. Actually, Swamiji will recommend you and me to achieve focus, to get fulfillment. So you have given me a subject in which you have given an answer also to the problem. So if you get focus, then you will get fulfillment. So how to get focus? How to get complete concentration? So that is the thing that we have to discuss. And we discuss all our IIT sessions also in Vivekananda Study Circle. Almost every Sunday, we discuss this thing only in different ways, in different approaches. So this is what we try to understand, that how this mind works and how this mind as an instrument can be exploited to achieve my goals and achieve fulfillment. And what is fulfillment? If getting an IT job, getting a very good salary, and getting a good, well-settled kind of life and career is a fulfillment, then again our discussions will reveal that these very places are the places where a spiritual luminary or a sage or a sadhu or a monk is invited and asked to deliver a lecture on how to deal with depressions, how to deal with anxiety. Those corporate companies themselves are having such sessions. Gurus may be different. The luminaries, the great personalities who are coming to guide them may be different. But the basic problem is the same. So you are thinking that if I become the President of America, my life will be fulfilled. But President of America is in a condition that if he is speaking on the dais and he cannot even know where to get down, where are the stairs, and he has to be continuously controlled and guided and taken care of. Such is the condition. So he is also not independent. So many people are telling him what to speak. So many people are telling him where to sit, when to stand, where to stand, what to talk, what not to talk. So if that is a fulfilled life, that you are being just, you may be given all the things in the world, but you are not your own. You see? you belong to somebody else. Everybody else is actually controlling you. Now, for the namesake, you are the most powerful man in the world. For the namesake. But actually, you are not. So, is this the fulfillment of life? So that let us first decide in our mind. Let us get disillusioned. Let us not cheat ourselves in telling that yes, if I get an IT job, I will be successful. I will be fulfilled. Then you will cheat yourself because you end up becoming miserable. Because why you wanted IT job, why you wanted IT career is because you wanted money. Why you wanted money? Because you wanted happiness. Why you wanted happiness? Because you don't want miserable. So this is what we end up becoming miserable in search of happiness. So this we have to understand what exactly we want. What is the crux of our seeking? What we are seeking actually. So basically, this mind is our instrument. When we see that I have to master my mind, means why? Because without mind I cannot do anything. With mind only I have to experience everything. What is this mind? So this mind is something. Can I write this?
Yes.
Yes. Is this right? Nothing. Okay, leave it. So, what are our needs? Swami said that most of the times our mind is getting enamored and allured to the goal. You see, goal, when somebody sets a goal that I want to become a professional, IT professional, an IT boss, and that's you have set a goal. Then what happens? All the time you are daydreaming about being a boss, IT boss, and then you are owning a company and you are having so many projects and this and that, moving around the world. So many glamorous dreams you are having. So you have set a goal, and then what happens? Your whole mind is on that goal, and you have forgotten about the means. So what are the means of achieving that goal? You don't know, because you know only the goal that I want to become an IT boss. But what about how to achieve it? That you have forgotten. So you have lost sight of the means. So Swamiji says that this is the great secret that I have learned from a great personality. What is that secret? That secret is Jana Sadhana Tana Siddhi. This only we were talking about just before coming here. Coincidentally, this topic came, Pavahari Baba. Swamiji met one great soul, Pavahari Baba, and he used to have conversations with him. So during those conversations, Pavahari Baba told him this secret. What is this secret? Jana Sadhana Tana Siddhi. Means what? Whatever are the means are, according to the means, you will get the goal. The goal will be directly proportional to the means. So if the means are properly decided, if the means are properly worked out, thank you very much. Then what happens? You have the goal. In our VSC also we do like that. Generally, we discuss many things on board so that it is easy to explain. So this is our game. What is that? Mindscape Mastery. What is Mindscape? So Mindscape is the things that are contents of the mind. You see, what are the contents of the mind? So first we will understand what is mind. Then we will go to contents of the mind. So mind is having the parts Manas, Buddhi, Chitta, and the Ahankara. So these are the 4 aspects of the mind. This is not that 4 watertight compartments. These are not 4 different 4 sections of mind. These are 4 qualities of mind. These are 4 functions of the mind. So manas is dealing with your thoughts, okay? Thoughts and emotions. Thoughts and emotions. Then buddhi is about this decision faculty. It processing and decision making. So your integrated circuit IC microprocessor will be the buddhi and processing and decision making. At any point, if you find it boring or irrelevant, please tell me. We'll try to come back to the track. If you find that I'm going out of the track, it is better to sometimes go out of the track, because then our monotony will be broken. Otherwise, it will become monotony. So chitta is what? Memory. And ahankara is the ego. Ego is the very basis of this, foundation of this. So what is this mind? What are the functions of this mind? It thinks. It has thoughts. It has emotions. Then what? It can process and decide also. So many thoughts. How these things are coming? So senses are there. So senses. Here we'll say 5 senses of knowledge. Or perception rather. And 5 of action. So these are the senses. They are feeding this mind. Organs of perception. So eyes, your skin, your tongue, your ears, your everything. These are organs of perception. They are feeding the mind. The moment that information came to the mind, just like a computer, your keyboard and mouse and everything. So the keyboard and mouse of this mind, they give the information to this mind processor, and then in this microprocessor there are different peripheral chips which are assisting this microprocessor and doing this job of what. Someone is doing the thought processing, someone is doing the decision making, someone is doing the storing, data storing, that is memory, and someone is doing the work of ego. Means what? Identifying all of them as mine or me. Okay, somebody should be there like that, is it not? Because what you do, first when you boot the computer or install the OS in the computer, what you do? You give it a name, you give it an identity. The computer has an address, so that static address is there, IP with you, something like that. So many different ways we give an ego to that computer. If that ego is not given, then what happens? That things will not happen. The network transfer, data transfer will not happen. Because the other computer will not know where from this data is coming. And it will give an error. So like that, if I don't have an ego, I won't be able to interact into this world. So ego is very necessary. So these are the parts of the mind. And now what are the contents of the mind? Contents of the mind are broadly, very grossly, lust, anger, jealousy, hatred. These are the, we call them enemies or evils of our mind. These are weaknesses. It is not that only these things are there in the mind. These are the weaknesses of our mind, or these are the, we call Shandharipus, or 6 enemies. Like this it is called. Why they are called enemies is because they hamper the work of our mind, the progress of our mind. And what are the, there may be strong points also. What are the strong? So sympathy, kindness. All these qualities may be provided, may be called as a great strength. Kindness or love. What you say, charitable feeling, or well, same thing. When I say sympathy, kindness, it all can come. It can be included into this. So what is it? This is the mind. These are the functionalities of the mind, and these are the quality. These are the contents of the mind. The mind it functions in one of these kinds of you can say emotions, so to speak. So there will be either of these emotions always manifested in the mind. And they will decide whether the mind is expanding or contracting. Okay. So they will decide whether you have this content, what kind of content you have, what kind of mixture you have. It will show whether it is expanding or contracting. So if you are a person who thinks about others, who have empathy and sympathy and love and kindness and the spirit of service and continuously thinking about others, working for others, if this is what you are having, then what? Your mind is expanding. And that expansion is life. Somebody said, and contraction is there. Then if you are having all the time lust, anger, jealousy, hatred, all these kinds of things, then mind is contracting. So something is expanding. Then what happens? This is expanding now. So this expansion means what? It will live. Its existence is more and more pronounced, more and more emphasized here. And something is contracting. So what happens? If there is a contraction all the time, lust, anger, jealousy, hatred, so many things are there horribly. So what is happening? It is getting more and more contracted, and it is going like a black hole. That even light cannot escape. Then it starts attracting other things into it, and nobody knows what is this. Nobody can see it. Nobody can detect it. But you just have to surmise that there is something called black hole there. Is it not? Scientists cannot see something which is black hole, but they can have only surmise. Why? Because everything is just entering into it, not coming out. So that like this, our mind becomes a selfish mind becomes. So this is what is. These are the contents of the mind, and these are the functionalities of the mind. So mastering the mind means what? To have this knowledge of all these things. Unless you know what is there in my mind, then how to master it? So to master it, I have to first study. Okay, acha, this is happening. So this introspection continuously, as I'm talking to you, if some anger comes to me, suppose, a bhava of क्रोध भाव आ गया, तो क्या होता है कि तुरंत मुझे पता चल गया. I immediately understood that I am becoming angry. So my eyes became red. My whole body starts shaking out of anger. I'm furious. Everybody knows that I'm furious. My whole face starts flushing. And then what? Then that person's symptoms like start saying, oh, this man is very angry. So anger is immediately visible. What was inside? That signs are visible. Jealousy is there. That is visible. Somebody is jealous. So he's burning inside out of that jealousy. Continuously, somebody's success is there and he's not able to tolerate it. Somebody else, our friend, is always getting better marks, better performance, better placements, everything and I'm doing, but I'm not getting. So all these things, when we start understanding, oh, it is there. When we start accepting, oh, there is a jealousy in me, there is anger in me, there is lust in me, then what happens? Then only you can do mastery things. The thing that you don't know at all about, how can you master it? Your faculty mentor sir is sitting here, and if he doesn't know about your Nirvana club and who are their members and what activities go on, if he just comes, suppose, and for the functions, and he just attends for some time and goes, suppose, then he will not be able to have any hold on you, or he will not be able to control you, or he will not be able to have any say over you. For first a faculty or somebody, I'm just giving an example, nothing personal, just a random example, that if somebody has to control something, then you have to know it first, thoroughly know it. Without knowing, I cannot control anything. And that thing should be intrinsic to me. If anything which is intrinsic to me only can be controlled. That thing which is outside cannot be controlled, you see. Because that is, I have no connection with that thing, is it not? So something which is connected to me, something which is me, that only can be controlled. That means this is my mind, this is me. So that only I can control. I cannot control somebody else's mind. So all the time we keep worrying about others. Oh, that fellow, he is doing like this. All the time. Our half of the time, or maybe more than half of the time is spent in worrying what others are thinking and doing. So we are worrying about their contents of their mind actually, which we should actually do otherwise. We should be more worried about contents of my mind. Then only I have some hold. If the Swamiji says that whatever happens to you, unless you have paved some way and unless you have contributed at 50%, that remaining 50% will not come. The blow will not come. So what Swamiji says in Work at Its Secret, that unless you have contributed something in your life, that blow will not come to you. If you have experienced a blow in your life, a situation, worsening situation, why? Because you have contributed. So then Swamiji says, what is the solution? If you control, if you withdraw that 50% contribution of yours, that you have initiated it. If you control it, then the reaction won't come. If the moment I control my contribution to something, and there won't be reaction. To each action, equal and opposite reaction is there. If my action is not there, then there will not be equal and opposite reaction. So if I want to stop the blows that I am getting in life, the only way is not there to scold anybody or to hate anybody or to be jealous about anybody or to harm anybody. No. The only thing I have to do is to control here. Where? Here. Because the mind is intrinsic to me. Mind is not somewhere sitting here. If it was sitting there, then I would be happy. Why? Because I don't have to control it. See, you people are all sitting there. I don't have to worry about you. Because I don't have any connection with you directly. So I don't have to control you. But I have full connection with this, whatever this whole thing is. So I have to worry continuously if I am not able to control it. So my 24-hour worry is how to keep it in control so that I will live an eternally happy life. Why? Because I will stop this blow generating mind. So always it is unnecessarily creating troubles. My mind is the wretched fellow who is all the time notorious fellow who is creating troubles for me. Nobody else is doing. Why? I am creating the environment, I am creating the ground, I am creating the situation, and the outside world contributes to the remaining portion of it. So it is like a mutual fund. You have to give your share, then they will give their share. So it is mutual fund going on. The moment this installment I don't give to the mutual fund, what will happen? That mutual fund will stop. They will not give you any of their these things. So that is the thing. This world is nothing but working on this mutual fund technique. We should stop contributing to that, our share. Then automatically it will dissolve. Now whatever has been done in the past, mistakenly, that only will continue. And the moment that effects coming of that effects will stop, we will be completely free. So that is freedom. That is freedom of the mind. That is mastery of the mind. What is mastery? Is this mastery. Controlling the notorious mind. Our notorious. Why? Because of this, its notoriety, you are facing so many problems in life. Yeah, that's why Swamiji, like people, why we are worshipping the people like Swamiji, because they were those people who had stopped their mind completely. This nirvana, what is this nirvana? That Buddha attained. That he did not go out doing anything. Just he sat under the Bodhi tree. And what he did? He completely silenced his mind. This notorious mind, he completely silenced. And the last play also was played. The trick also was played by his mind. That in the form of Mara. That Mara came and tempted Buddha. He came and frightened Buddha. But he knew that this is nothing but these are the vagaries of my mind. These are just nothing but modifications of my own mind, and I am getting frightened. I am being tempted. Actually, this is not outside. The moment I stop my contribution to these temptations, the moment I stop my contribution to these frightening things, then what happens? All the fear and all the temptations will also cease. Actually, I am fueling all these things. I will stop giving fuel to them. That's what Buddha did. He stopped that fueling, and then his mind was silent. The moment his mind was silent, he attained nirvana. Because what? Then everything of all these thoughts, manas, buddhi, chitta, ahankar, all these things, they became dissolved into their self, which is the supreme self. Now, so supreme self, which is the chit aspect. Chit, we say, Sat Chit Ananda. That is the supreme reality. That is our nature. So what Swami says, each soul is potentially divine. Each soul is potentially divine. Means what? That supreme self. Each soul is that supreme self. The goal is to manifest that divinity within. Do it by work, or worship, or meditation, or psychic control. With one or many or all of these, do it by any of these. So what Swamiji says, that your goal of all of us, all our lives is nothing but to manifest that divinity. Okay, what is divinity? Is to know that we are divine. Okay, so what wine does? So if wine gives you the inebriation in this temporary world. Okay, in this temporary world, wine gives you inebriation, intoxication. Now, why people drink wine? Because they want to forget this world, this miserable world, horrible world. They want to be to a couple of hours of complete bliss there. But after a couple of hours or so, again they are back to diarrhea. And then this is what the work of wine. But if you become divine, then what? Means what permanently you go into bliss. Then you don't need this wine to go into bliss. This is what. So the spelling does not match, but the pronunciation at least matches. Okay, so this potentially divine means what? This divinity we have to manifest within. See, once in a while we have to make such kind of these things. Otherwise, most of you will start snoring. That is my fear. Acha, then what is Swami Vivekananda's blueprint for focused and fulfilled life? So what Swami Vivekananda suggests for focused life. Focus means unless you control this mind. Now, see, controlling the mind and for attaining fulfillment depends on refining your will. So will is a faculty of mind. So will, the thoughts and emotions are there. Desiring. Okay? All of us have desires. That is what can be called a will. I have a will. I can have a desire. I can have a will that I will go anywhere, a place. I want to achieve this. This is the will of man. Everybody is given this free will. Only human being is having this free will. A dog cannot will to become an IT professional. A cat cannot will to become a businessman. No, it has to go according to its nature's path. But only a human being can have this kind of will, you see. He can have so many, 100,000 wills, different types of will. So this will that has been given to man is the great power that we are having. And we have to fine-tune this power. We have to refine this power so that we will be able to achieve anything. Because willpower, that's what we call willpower. So this Swamiji-like people, why we worship them? Because they have tremendous willpower. The moment they used to have a strong will that yes, this is what I want, then nothing could prevent them from achieving that. So whatever Swamiji willed, whatever Swamiji wanted, yes, this I want, I must get it. So, but how he used this willpower? He used this willpower in doing good to this world, in encouraging people, in enlightening people to their divinity. So whatever difficulties he faced in his life, he used this willpower to counteract those difficulties. So this is what he did. So how to do that? So tapas is the way to refine, fine-tune this will, strengthen this will, tapas. If you do tapas, then you will develop this will. So without doing tapas, you won't be able to. Because what happens? Suppose a person is a soldier. So a soldier is given so much training, hard training, every day, day in and day out, that he develops that willpower. And because of that willpower, he conquers the enemy, actually. More than what guns and what ammunitions they are provided to him, more than that, he conquers by his great willpower. Once I had read this story of Israeli when this present PM, Israeli PM, Netanyahu, his elder brother was there. He was an army commander, Israel. It's long back, maybe more than two decades back, this story happened. So what happened? This Israeli plane was hijacked. And this plane was hijacked and taken into one neighboring Arabian country, small country. And this hijacked plane was landed in one very remote airport, small airport in that Arabian country. And Israeli government came to know that our people have been hijacked. Their plane has been hijacked, and they are under control of that particular terrorist. Then this present PM's brother, he was killed in that operation. His name was also Netanyahu. So he was a commander of the team, who were commandos, who were assigned the job to rescue those hijacked people, those passengers. Now, they very stealthily at night, they landed through their aircraft on that landing field, airfield, and very stealthily they attacked the terrorists and they rescued all the passengers. But in that operation, can you imagine? In that operation, when they were rescuing and taking, because the passengers had been shifted into the airport, they were not in the plane, so they have to be again shifted immediately into the plane so that the plane could be flown back to Israel. Now, when this whole thing was going on and commanders were full fighting with the terrorists, the gunfire is going on. During that time, when one commando is taking one Israeli passenger to the plane, then that passenger is telling, we almost had lost faith that anybody will come to save us, and we thought that we are dead now. But then that commando is telling, you might have had that this doubt, but we never had any doubt that we will save you. We never had a slightest doubt that we will save all of you. Can you imagine? This is the confidence, this is the will. How that will came? Tapas. Because the commandos are given so much hard life. They are given so much focus. They have to do such and such regimen of things. Unless they do it, they are not spared. So after doing that things, there is not a slightest doubt that they will be successful. Any operation commandos are sent, they just are like you see, like the programmed rockets, that they will do their job, that's all. There is no other kintu parantu in their mind. Why? Because so much is tapas is done. But why we are all here sitting here and asking so that some speaker will come and give us a formula for success? Why you all are sitting here and wanting from me? Because somewhere we lack tapas. If that tapas we will not lack, probably we will feel, Swamiji, I will always like to hear you speak. Because it is always a pleasure to speak to hear something, good satsanga. But as for the matter of tapas, I am doing enough, and I am so strongly confident that these things I can easily pass and easily clear. It is my left-hand job actually, because so much I am struggling and I struggle. So this confidence will come to you, and then you will not have to hanker for some inspirational, motivational speaker in the YouTube, going on listening to in morning and actually more tapas you do of listening to motivational speaker. That is more routinely you do. If that routine is shifted into our regular probably we won't need any motivational speaker. So more of the efforts are put into hearing motivational talks and inspirational talks. So this is what tapas does. It gives us more and more strong will. Then this next is what? Intellect. Okay, intelligence. Now intelligence is something which is, I told, intelligence is something intrinsic. You see? That which is intrinsic to all of us is intelligence. Is it not? Okay. So that which is not intrinsic to us is called what? Anybody can tell? That intelligence which is not intrinsic to us is called artificial intelligence. It is not intrinsic. It is somewhere outside, and somebody has to develop it. Some external things have to develop that intelligence. That intelligence is not on its own. Somebody else, means what? Some intrinsic intelligence developed this artificial or extrinsic intelligence. Which is extrinsic. AI is extrinsic intelligence. It cannot evolve on its own. There may be models, AI models that go to very near to the natural intelligence model. If at all there is any model of this natural intelligence, then there may be some AI model, or in future there may develop some AI models which will go very near, but they can never equal this natural intelligence because of this very only thing. Why? This is intrinsic, and AI, whatever advanced it can go to whatever great levels, but it cannot. It will still remain extrinsic. It will still remain dependent on something. And that which is dependent on something, that which is extrinsic, is artificial. And that which is intrinsic, that which doesn't depend on anything, that is independent of all things, that intelligence is natural intelligence, that is absolute intelligence. This is AI, absolute intelligence. Real AI is this absolute intelligence. And what is, so to speak, AI or fake AI or namesake AI is artificial intelligence. Sorry to offend the AI students here, but but this is the fact. This is what it is. So what we are talking, intelligence. Now how to develop this intelligence is by Swadhyaya. Continuously, if you refine this intrinsic, you have this intrinsic intelligence. Now what you have to do is just to go on refining it, go on tuning it more and more. What you say? If you have a sword or if you have a knife, what you do? Every day you have to sharpen it. So just like that, it doesn't. What is needed there is just one probably sharpening some stone or something there. But here, what is this? Sharpening is the Swadhyaya is the stone on which you sharpen your intellect. Means going on repeating those things only. That's Swadhyaya. What your goal is, what your ambition is, that you keep on studying. So will, intellect, development of will, development of will, development of intellect. Please don't mind my handwriting. And then development of ego. Means development of means refinement of. So, so this is done by tapas. This is done by Swadhyaya. And refinement of ego. Means what? You have, all of us have egos. But if our egos are raw egos, the raw ego is the ego which absolutely is doesn't care about anybody else. I don't care. Parvaila. So like this, he's always saying, I don't care about it. I have only I'm thinking about myself. So that ego is a very raw ego. All the time thinking about oneself. So the ego, when it gets refined more and more, then it thinks about others, thinks about everyone, takes everyone in the stride. So how it happens? By Ishwar Pranidhana. So if you develop devotion to God and surrender to God, then what happens? Then your ego becomes more and more refined, more and more, the raw ego becomes more and more ripened. So that is ripened ego. A man of God realization, man of God, what is his ego like? This is a ripened ego. He has an ego. Swami Vivekananda has an ego, but it's a ripened ego. So that ripened ego, that mature ego, that refined ego is a ego of the universe, universal ego. That's why whenever Swamiji is thinking, his thoughts come for the universe, from the totality, whatever he has done. So it has been done for the universe, for the totality. And then all of these can be done through renunciation and service. So how to practice this? How to continuously keep these things? So by, Swamiji says, renunciation and service. Renunciation is what? Renunciation of this little self, little ego. And how to actualize it? Through service. You actualize. How to manifest it? Is through service. So you renounce your small ego, small petty attachments. So renunciation of petty ego, raw ego, petty attachments, and how to do that is through service. So when I serve you, then what happens? I have to renounce my pettiness. I have to renounce my raw ideas, raw ego. Then only I can serve you. I cannot serve you otherwise. Is it not? When I have to serve you means I have to do so many compromises. I have to do so many adjustments for myself. Then those adjustments teach my ego to become more and more refined and more universal. So, so far we have discussed these ideas. We will go further also. Anybody has any questions? we can discuss some questions before we can proceed. So that it should become interactive session. Otherwise.
So we keep discussing these terms mind and ego, but sometimes it is very confusing. Mind, ego, consciousness. How do we actually define these terms? Like, these terms are so often thrown around in different discussions. But can you throw some light? How do you understand these terms?
So these are just functions. They are not like watertight compartments. These are functions of one unit personality, which you are. You are one personality. Okay. So say suppose a person who is a fruit seller from 9 to 5 and comes back home. He is a father of his children, husband of his wife, son of his mother, friend of his friend, brother of his brother and sister. So one person only. So then when you say, how is it that you are calling him brother now? He was a fruit seller. Now why are you calling him a brother? Then somebody, you were calling him brother. How are you now calling him a son? So do you feel a conflict between a person being at the same time a brother, at the same time a son, at the same time a husband, at the same time a father, and at the same time a professional? So just like that, a mind, same one unit soul, one unit personality that you are. What is your name? Ani. So one Anik himself is having so many things. So there are no Anik the intellect, Anik the mind, Anik the emotion. So how to understand it? Getting confused. Hey, are you Anik the emotion that talking to me now, or Anik the intellect, or Anik the body? So it is not like that. You Anik means the whole totality, and it is homogeneous. It is not like that. So that is why it is more and more interesting. It is more and profound. Anik is not just something. So that is why you are divine. That what people actually look at you is another person. But you are not just another person. You are having so many things inside you. You are having so many possibilities inside. So many functionalities inside. Suddenly, when you are morose now, you are depressed. But something happens. Probably you just had a good night's sleep, and then next morning you are again revitalized and inspired to do things. Again, next morning you are telling, no, I can do anything and everything. So this same Andy who was yesterday night, he was completely depressed. This morning, what happened? So this is the thing. There are so many things inside yourself that you yourself don't know. You have not investigated them, and that is why you are thinking, this is the consciousness. This is emotion. This is intellectual faculty. No, this is one only. These are the different functions, different behaviors of that one unit. This thing.
Yes, that answers the question.
Maybe my question is out of the topic. What is the difference between a sannyasi and a grahastha life?
Acha, are all of you want to get the answer, or we can discuss about it later? Do you all want to discuss this?
Yes.
So because we can otherwise continue with the same topic, but anyway, I will otherwise also I can continue. So what is this is simple. Grahastha is a grahastha and sannyasi is a sannyasi. So what is grahastha is the man who goes into a householder's life. He marries, he has a house and children to take care of. He has his parents to live with. So he is a grihi, means one who has a house. Griha is grihastha, the one who lives in a house. Is it not? Every householder will have an address. But any sannyasi, if you say, what is your address, sir? He will say, my address. Today I am here, tomorrow I may not be here. So, what is your postal address, sir? See, I don't have a postal address. Like this. So, a sannyasi, traditionally, would not have a postal address because he was always wandering from one tirtha to another tirtha, one pilgrimage place to another pilgrimage place, one mountain to another village to another city. And he used to do like this, live like this. Any day he wanted to stay under the tree, he used to spend the night under the tree, and he's happy with that. And if someday he gets a good food to eat, somebody comes and offers, he's happy. Someday if he goes hungry, then also he's happy. He is a sannyasi. is a mendicant. He is a renunciate. And who is a householder? Householder cannot live like that. Any day under a tree, any day without food, any day nice. No. He has to abide by certain principles, codes of conduct. Because he is a part and parcel of a society. Yeah, the society which has got its own codes of conduct. Now, social codes are there, social laws are there. So the Grihastha has to abide by them. So Mahabharata discusses, Swamiji discusses the rules that are to be followed by a Grihastha and the rules that are to be followed by a sannyasi. Swamiji, if you read Karma Yoga of Swamiji, which I would recommend you all to read, Swami Vivekananda's Karma Yoga. So this Swamiji details these rules for the householders. So there are 4 stages of Vedic Hindu's life. So what were these? The Brahmacharya, Garhasthya, Vanaprastha and Sannyasa. So previously, ancient times, they used to have, everybody used to pass through these 4 stages of this life. So finally, they used to all renounce the world and prepare themselves for the afterlife, so that they don't have to suffer. So it is like, why you have entered into this IT institute? Why you have come? Because you want IT job. So when you get into the IT job, you should not have to suffer there. Then you should not have to be bullied by those IT bosses that, hey, you don't know this much. You don't know C++. You don't know Java. You don't know this technology. That like this, you will be bullied by them. So, and you will suffer. So better to be prepared. Better to equip myself with all the, what you want, I know this. Can you do this code? Yes, I can do. Then you will be appreciated and you will live a good life in there. Just like that. If you pass on from this world into the next, like an ignorant man, like a fool, then what will happen? You will be bullied by the people there. They will say, hey, what a fool has entered into so-called heaven. Then they will say, we don't want this. Kick him off this heaven. Then you will be again kicked off and you will again fall on this earth. So those people, they thought, no, why we should be kicked off from the heaven? We should go there prepared. So then they prepared for that afterlife. As a last stage of life, before dying, they renounced this world. And all the time thinking about that reality, they left this body. So they were welcomed. They were received dignified way. Is it not? If you have prepared for some place, then you will be given a good job. They say when placement officers come here for you, placement interview people, and when you are prepared well, then what is they'll, sir, please accept our job, and this is our letter. So please come to this thing. We will. Then they will negotiate with you. What are your wants? What salary you want, sir? They will call you with respect. But if you are a non-prepared person, completely raw, you have not done anything, then what will say? After 2 minutes or 5 minutes, they will say, get out. Is it not? They will disrespect you. They will simply, this fellow is of no worth. Why am I wasting my time on this? So these are the 4 ashramas which prepare you for the afterlife. So some people thought, why should I wait? Why should I wait till the end of my life to become a sannyasi and prepare? Some people had, no, I don't want to, I'm not interested in going into that, all that, those standard path. So for them also, our dharma, our society gave an option, okay, if you are not willing to go into this thing, you can directly also take up to that renouncing life. And you can prepare for the afterlife, now itself. So we are among such people who probably are understood much earlier the horribleness of this world, and that's why we wanted to prepare for the other world much in advance, so that better to be safe. When you don't get the train tickets, when the trains are going full, so many festivals are going on, Diwali, Durga Puja, so many trains are all going full. Better to book the tickets 4 months in advance. Otherwise, what happens? Last moment, Tatkal will not be there. It won't. Sometimes Tatkal will close in 1 second. 10 o'clock it opened, and 10:05 all the bookings over. So Tatkal also you could not get. Then what? You have to go walking to your place. Means not literally, but like kind of. So this is the thing. So better to be prepared. This is what is the difference between 2 modes of life. Does it make some sense? Okay, thank you.
Swami, I have a question. So, as you were mentioning, that our true nature is divine. My question is, if we are Satchidananda, that is our true nature, then why we don't feel it that way? what is it that we feel sorrow, we feel all the sufferings and all, but we don't feel ourselves as Satchidananda. Every time we are feel the suffering, but not the true nature. Why is it so?
Okay, suppose I tell you why is it so. A very convincing answer, suppose I give you. Will it solve your problem? So suppose I tell you, suppose somebody has got a cancer. Suppose some XYZ person has got a cancer. And the doctor goes on explaining to him, sir, what happens, you had a cancer because you did like this, you were doing smoking, you were doing drinking. And then he will tell, okay, sir, I understood why I have cancer. You first solve my cancer. You first cure me out of my cancer. What he will tell me? If I go on giving you lecture, very convincing lecture, on how this whole thing came up, you will say, Swamiji, your lecture was very wonderful. It was such a talk, such a discourse, but it was of no use. So it is just like that. Why it happened? We may go on millions of years discussing about it, and it may be very wonderful talk, wonderful discourse, wonderful books, wonderful articles, and whatnot. Well, we are at the same point. The discussions will go on, but we are miserable nonetheless. But if you want to solve it, the people have given the way. So Buddha told, if somebody is struck with an arrow, suppose this is Buddha's example. That what he told, if some arrow has been penetrated into somebody's chest, and now that somebody is the one person who has come running to rescue him, he starts talking to him. Acha, from which direction this arrow must have come? It must have come from 15 meters. I think from the east. And that fellow is bleeding. He is shouting, screaming that somebody save me. And this fellow who has held this person hit with arrow, is discussing actually this direction it must have come. This much distance it must have traveled. That such and such person must have this thing, hit this arrow. And like this, he is philosophizing so many things. And Buddha says, will it help that man who has been hit by arrow? So what will be the solution? To immediately take him to the doctor, to the surgeon, remove that arrow and cure him of that wound. That is the only solution to, at that particular moment, to come out of that particular problem, particular misery. So Buddha told how this world came, how I came into this Maya, how this ignorance happened. We may go on millions of years, but at the end, we will be still in ignorance only. At the end, we will be still in miserable condition. So, what Buddha told, I will give you, rather than discussing this, I will give you a fixed, very guaranteed solution to come out of this. You apply this solution, you come out, be free. Then you will say, is it not? Then that cancer patient, if the doctor says, now reverse, another situation you have. A cancer patient goes to a doctor and he goes on asking him 100 questions. Acha, doctor, why this cancer happened to me? I did not do this, I did not do that, I never lived like this, I never blah blah blah. So many things. He goes on asking and kind of harassing the doctor by his question. But if the doctor is wise and he tells, say, sir, whatever it is, now the cancer has happened to you. And I have a solution for you. I have treatment for you. A guaranteed treatment. If you undergo that treatment, I will cure you within 6 months. So I will give you 2 options. Whether to go on discussing about how this cancer happened to you, or second option is to immediately start your treatment. What would you choose? So that what a wise patient would choose? Treatment. So that is the thing. So this Swamiji also gave this practical thing. There is no end to thinking about something, why we came. There is one story that one fellow was he rescued one person who had jumped into or fallen into the river, and that person rescues that boy or that child, and then everybody is garlanding him and clapping and celebrating that person's behavior. His great endeavors, great qualities that he saved one person from drowning and everything. Then that person gets irritated. After so much of galata is happening, shouting, everybody is cheering for him now. Then he says, okay, stop this cheering. First you tell me who pushed me into the water. So like this, see what the thing is, there is no use asking this question, who pushed you into the water. You are into the water. first you get out of the water. After you get out of the water only, all these things will be, you can decide whether to discuss them about them or not. But at the moment, you have to first stop yourself from drowning, because you are drowning. And at the time of drowning, better not to think about who's pushed you into the water. That you think and put a legal case on him after you come out of water and get on the land. But that while drowning, if you think this fellow, I will teach him a good lesson, but you are drowning. Is it there any use? No use, no? So that's all.
Sir, can you please elaborate on what a life and ego looks like, a mature ego? As you said that as we do good to people, our mind expands and our ego becomes ripe.
See, ripe and ego means, if your ego is immature, you won't understand in which situations, how you should behave. So what happens, many times we see people behave in challenging situations, in different situations, they mess up with the situation. They create a more, they make the simple situation also more complex because their egos are unripe. So because of that unripe egos, what happens? They cannot handle that situation. They make a mess of that situation. But on the contrary, if your ego is ripened, if your ego is mature, then what you do? You know where to back off. In which situation it's wiser to back off. In which situation it's wiser to bend. In which situation it's wiser to become this thing, and in the long run to achieve success. So the ripened ego means what? The ego which is larger in space and time. So when the ego becomes larger in space and time, what happens? It doesn't matter little failures, little setbacks, little depressions, little these things, humiliations, it won't bother. It won't keep on brooding over those little these things in everyday life. Every day, everybody has to suffer insults, humiliations, successes, failures, so many things. That unripe ego cannot handle it. All these things, whether positive or negative. Success means he will go mad. If a little success, if you get a little job tomorrow, a placement company comes and gives a job, you will go party and the next day you are off. You are completely reeling out of that success. You are out of control. But and the failure comes, the same thing. On the negative side, it is same thing. You are completely out of control. Nobody can save you. You have bolted your room from inside, and nobody is able to reach you. You have gone inside a blanket and you are not coming out at all. You have so much depression, frustration is there. So like this. But a person of ripened ego, he faces a massive failure. A failure which is a disastrous failure. But he will digest it as if nothing happened. Okay, that because he could swallow the entire thing as if that ego is a universal ego. That thing, this is failure. This is disaster. I am the universe. You see, in this universe there are supernovas exploding. There are galaxies colliding with each other. There are suns and stars exploding, and so many tsunamis and so many earthquakes and so many things happen. Nothing. I am not being affected. The earth, suppose, for example, forget about universal ego. The earth itself. If you get identified with her, you will not. Earth is revolving for millions of years, having earthquakes, having floods, having disasters. But Earth is the same. It's still so many jivas, so many creatures are there, so many forests, so many rivers. So everything is going on as usual. It doesn't destroy the life of the earth. Eternally, as if eternally it is going on. So that is the example, a very direct example of ripe ego. That something happens, but you are not perturbed. So many things are happening in your life, horrible things, but you are still peaceful. You are still going on. Nobody could stop the flow of your life. There is no dam that could stop the river of your life completely. That is what is ripened ego. And unripe ego is a little stream. If you put a leg into that stream, that flow is stopped. That is a very petty ego, unripe ego, raw ego. So would you like to become that kind of raw ego that anybody can put his foot and stop your flow? This thing, no. You would like to become an ocean like. What is that? Bhagavan says in Bhagavad Gita, Apuryamana achala pratishtham samudramapa pravishanti advat tadvat kamalam pravishanti sarve sa shanti mapnoti na kamakam. What does this mean? apuryamanam achala pratishtham. So apuryamanam, like an ocean, is always apuryamanam. Is full. Apuryamanam is full always. What is the apuryamanam? Achala pratishtham. He is like achala. Not even a single second is this thing increasing or decreasing. Level. It's not decreasing or increasing. The flood tide may come. These are just tides. They don't increase the level of the ocean. So, apuryamanam achala pratishtham. What is that? Samudra mapaha. What is that? Samudra mapaha means the water of the ocean. Pravishanti advat. Now, samudram apa pravishanti advat means what? Continuously rivers are, massive rivers, not tiny streams. Massive rivers are every second entering into the ocean. Ganga, Yamuna, Brahmaputra, Godavari, Kaveri. So many rivers, just one, this is one, this thing only. One part of the ocean only. On the other side, there are another rivers. On different countries, different rivers. So all the, if you consider all the rivers in all the countries, they are entering into the ocean. The ocean level should have increased by now. But why it is not okay? Sorry, I could not live. I forgot to put it into sentence. So many rivers are entering every second into ocean, but what is this? Apuryamanam achala pratishtham. Samudra apa pravishanti. Tadvat kamayam pravishanti sarve. So a ripen ego, so many things are coming to him. Great things are coming to him, like Swami Divyakripananda. When he got success in Chicago address, the whole 7,000 audience is rushing towards him, clapping for him. They are cheering for him. But this Swami Divyakripananda is the same Swami Divyakripananda who was like a child who used to sit in front of Sri Ramakrishna and very inquisitively, very humbly, with great faith and this thing, humility, used to listen to his master's words. Same like that young Narendra, that successful Swami Vivekananda in the Chicago 1893 Parliament of Religions. He did not have his brain gone because of that success. Swami writes in his letter, if anybody else was there in my place, his brain would have gone. But because it was me, I could easily digest it. So much success, so much adoration. So this is the example of ripening. And then failure came. Swamiji's life is full of misery, full of disastrous things happening. Swami, you cannot imagine. That's why you study life of Swami Vivekananda by his Eastern and Western disciples. There is a 2-volume book published by Advaita Ashram. So that is a very authentic life of Swami. You read authentic life of Swami Vivekananda by his Eastern and Western. I think you can maintain a library. This Nirvana Club can maintain a library of such good lives. You see, you have to like philosophical books or teachings, books of teachings. You should also have biographies, because biographies are actually a source of direct inspiration, and they give a rather better clue to understanding philosophy than to directly go to philosophical books and trying to guess what does this mean. So if you study biographies of great people like this, then they are the better pathways of understanding philosophy.
Here we started the हमें एक section बनाया है library, तो बहुत सारी books भी हैं.
So please keep a biography of Swami Vivekananda in that. Eastern by Swami Vivekananda's life of Swami Vivekananda by his Eastern and Western disciples. Okay. Any other question?
Swami, can you shed some light on what's the difference between confidence and ego? Like going forward, how can we be confident and proud about something but not be egoistic at the same time?
See, that will come when you are practicing Ishwar Pranidhana, the surrender to God. So what happens? Your confidence, when it lies on the basis of permanence, that which is permanent, out of that my greatness is coming. So then what will happen? That is called really confidence. That, okay, I am confident, but on the basis of whom? That my God, the Supreme, which is inside me. which is my very substratum, which is my very foundation, on whom I believe, on whom I surrender, on whom I rely. From there, my energy is coming. So then I am confident. That doesn't mean ego, because where is my ego? Ego is I am belonging to that surrender. But when you are not belonging to that reality, and you are saying, no, I am, because of me it happened, and I only did it. That time, what you are doing? You are disassociating yourself with that all-pervading reality. You are thinking yourself to be an isolated entity, which you are not. No one can be. So when you think, I am an isolated power, which does everything, and which can do anything and everything, then you are doomed. But if you say, I can do anything and everything, but because why? Because behind me is the supreme power. Behind me is that universal source of energy, power, knowledge, and blessedness and peace. That is why I can do anything. Then you are saved. Because when you fall, see, if I have built my foundation, if I am standing on something which will never perish, then I can jump on this endlessly, on this floor. But if this floor is a shaky floor, if this floor is made of some wood and something, some flimsy material, then what? I'm going to be doomed to live tomorrow. So this ego is this flimsy foundation. This I am jumping. But the confidence based on faith on oneself, based in faith in the God, then you don't have flimsy. You have the strongest of foundation. There is one story in Kenopanishad. If you have time and you are interested, then only we will continue. Otherwise, if this session is going not so interesting, then you please tell. Be free, be frank.
Continue.
So there is a Kenopanishad story, because he told this thing. So what is that story? That one day gods had a great success over the demons. They won the battle against the demons, and they were all happy. And they came, Indra and Varuna and Agni, everybody, all these main top board of directors, they came and they were celebrating their success in the battlefield. So they were all joyous. Then suddenly what happened? When they were sitting in their courtyard, court, that Indra's court, then suddenly there was a person, a guest came outside the court, and he wanted audience of the devas. So then gods, and then he asked for the audience. So then Indra told, who has come? He told, okay, Agni, you go and see who has come. So then Agni went, and then who are you? I have never seen you. So then he told, I am Yaksha. Okay, what is Yaksha? Then what you can do? Then he told, I will tell you, but before that he put a blade of grass in front of that Agni, the fire god. And then he told, what you can do? I can burn the whole universe, he told. Then, oh, is it so? Then can you burn this blade of grass? Then he told, what is this? He's making a joke of me or what? And then he told, okay, then still, okay, let me show him a demo version, a trailer. Then he started putting all his energy onto this blade of grass. Nothing is happening. I'm the god of fire. The entire fire principle in this whole universe, I am controlling. And this fellow, this blade of grass is not burning. He became furious. All the more energy he is putting in. Nothing is happening. The blade of grass is just like that grass thing. Then he became totally humiliated. You see, it's a great humiliation. That an IT professional, I am the topper in the IIT Sri City, and somebody is once a petty question, some simple question I am not able to do, simple code I am not able to crack. Like this, this is great humiliation for me. Like this. So like this, that Agni felt, and with his head bent, he went back to Indra. Then what happened? Indra was surprised. Why this fellow not? And we are celebrating our success, and why he is so morose? He told, I am unable to handle this. Like this, he gets angry. Then Indra, he said, Varuna, you go. The power god, the wind god. You go and see why something is there. They are in that jovial mood, joyous mood. So he did not probably go much deeper into what happened. He just said, okay, you see, like that. And he went. And same question was asked by Yaksha. I said, what can you do? What can you do means what? I can simply drive tornadoes or cyclones, and I can simply toss and turn anything and everything in the universe. Oh, is this so? then this blade of grass is there. Can you just toss this and turn this blade of grass? Then he same thing he told, what is this joke? Then still okay, demo. But he could not show the demo also. Nothing is working. And that is not even moving also. Then he told, what is this great humiliation? He also returned humiliated, bent. Then this is really Indra got now, because these people are very powerful. Indra knows their power. So now what happened? Now I have to go. Then when he went, that Yaksha disappeared. And Indra felt humiliated. That he did not even give me audience. He did not. It is like, oh, you are not fit enough. That I will show you myself. So that felt, what is this humiliation? Like that he felt. By that time, the mother goddess, the divine mother appeared there. And then she explained to Indra who it was. Then divine mother told that the Yaksha that you are talking about, is nothing but the Brahman itself, the God himself. So, then she explained, because of his power, all of your powers are there. Then he wanted you to understand that unless he is there behind you, you cannot even burn the Agni, the fire god, cannot even burn a blade of grass unless he backs you. Unless he backs you, the wind god cannot even move the blade of grass. So this whole cyclones and turmoils and tornadoes are moving across the planet and also in the other galaxies and everywhere. All the movements are being controlled by this God. But who is behind that? That all-pervading Brahman, which is reality, which is Satchidananda, which we was mentioning. That is our nature. If you realize that, then what happens? Then you go beyond this. You go beyond that layer of gods. That gods can only control what? Only sentient things. Only created things they have the power to control. But who has given that power? Upanishads say that God, ultimate God has given them that power. He has assigned them, okay, you take control of this. You take you handle this computer department. You handle this communication department. You deal with this mechanical engineering department. Like every has a HOD, every department, like this. But who appoints the HODs? There will be a highest power. So like this, there is the highest power. So that Divine Mother says that highest power had come out of compassion. Because we were so much celebrating that you have won, you have conquered them. Then God wanted you to know you have not conquered because of His backing, because of His support, because of His will that is working through you, that you could conquer. So, Swamiji says, that is what Ishwar Prajna. When your will you surrender to God's will, continuously you practice doing this, then what happens? God's will becomes your will. Then what happens? Whatever you will, has the support of God, nobody can overturn it. Then even that, so to speak, in this Kenopanishad story, even that fire god also cannot do anything. Because if you will, if you are sitting in a fire, and if you will, I will not be burned. You will not be burned. Because why? Because your will has been, continuously you have practiced your will to surrender it to God's will. Now, when it continuously is happening, what happens? Reverse also is true. Is it not? When A is equal to B, then B is equal to A. So like that, when your will is continuously becoming God's will, then after a few years of practice, what happens? God's will becomes your will. So whatever you will, that's why Swami Vivekananda, whatever he will, it happened. Why? Because it was nothing but God's will working through it. So this is the thing. So this, what was the question? Question?
How to be confident and proud but not be.
So this is the thing, that this story of Kenopanishad, these gods, so the gods became what? Egoistic. They should have become confident on the basis of God's support. Yes, thank God, we are saved because of God is supporting the devas. Because we are working for good of the world. That's why God is supporting us. But that's why God has appointed us to control, not to destroy this world, but to control. That is why. So this, if they would have understood it, then they would remain humble and they would remain surrendered to God. But because they did not understand it, God thought, oh, let me withdraw their power. So in 1 second, He made them nobody. backbenchers have no questions.
Sir, Swami, is there any practice or sadhana that they can do and try to understand, in a period of time? In shares.
Understand what?
To understand the concept of mind and this.
So that is what we were discussing. This tapas. We were discussing this practice, tapas. So what you have to do tapas means, I gave an example of those commandos, those army commandos. So they do tapas. That's why they are having complete control over their particular task. Because they are given the training to control that particular, in that particular context they have full control. Just like that, if you want full control over your mind, then you have to do a tapas of that proportion. So what is that tapas? Then you have to live a very disciplined life. Then you have to live a very life of very purity, discipline, self-control, steadiness, dedication. All these are nothing but different words. Then what? You have to do swadhyaya. Swadhyaya means what? Again, the studying the scriptures, studying about your own self, about reality, about mind. That's what. Controlling mind means first you have to study about mind. So that is swadhyaya. Then Ishwar Pranidhana. Then continuously worshipping God, upasana of God, surrendering to God. Upasana means surrendering to God. So this is upasana. So every day those people who do upasana, what they do? They every day they are part by part, they are offering their ego to God, and part by part practicing. One day your ego will entirely get surrendered to God. When every day we practice it. So this is the practice. Largely, broadly. Then we can go on detailing it endlessly.
How to control lust, anger, and jealousy?
First, you have to identify. Just what we told. First, we have to understand and identify. Yes, that I have this in my mind. Unless I identify it, I cannot control it. Okay. And when I have to control something, then what happens? I have to be detached from it. Okay. If suppose I become lust myself, then I cannot control lust. Is it not? I have to control something from becoming what is it? Detached or dissociated from it. Then only I can control it. So just like this bottle, if I have to hold in my hand, I have to separate myself from this bottle. Otherwise, if I become this bottle, then I cannot drink this water in this bottle, because I myself am bottle. So like this. So if I have to first understand that this is lust, and I am not this lust. This lust is something separate from me, and I have to control it. I have to dissociate from it. I have to keep it away from me. So the moment you understand that you are away, you are separate from this lust is not you, and this is of no use to you. Then what? You can manipulate it. This term, where how much farther and farther you have to go from it, you can decide. So first understand, accept, and dissociate from it. Like this, everything you can do, lust, anger, or anything. First you have to identify, yes, this is anger, and this is not me. So then you can control it. Then you can dissociate yourself from it, and then you can manipulate it. But what happens, unfortunately, we are used to becoming lust. We are used to becoming anger. But then what happens, after one person calms down, then he understands, hey, I was angry. 5 minutes back I was angry. That I understand after the anger is over. So that is the problem. That is all of our problem. When I am becoming angry and shouting at you, then you tell, Maharaj, you are angry. Please control your anger. Then at that time I will not accept that I am angry. When I calm down, then I will say, yes, I was angry. So that time I am completely blind. So just like when I am under the control of lust, I am completely blind. When I am under the control of anger, completely blind. When jealousy, completely blind in them. When I come out, then I understand. In the calmer moments, in the more quiet moments, then I understand, oh my God, so much lust is there in me, so much anger is there, so much jealousy is there. Like this, that time we realize. These things are there. Is it not, does it make sense? Let me see if any other point that there is anything left up to be discussed or you would like to discuss. How much time do we have? Another 5 minutes. So, Swamiji says, I will just conclude with some points. So, do you want to? So, Swamiji says, by thinking of weakness, we cannot cure weakness. So, Swamiji says, think of strength. So, this is the solution. So, how to control lust? Continuously thinking of lust, you cannot control lust. So, what Swamiji says, the thinking of weakness, we cannot control weakness. But think of strength. So, if you have to think of something that is exactly counteracting. So, if you have lust, you have, they say in Yoga Shastra, they say Pratipaksha Bhavana. Means what? You exactly do something reverse. So that those forces will be balanced, is it not? Absorbing the shocks. So there is something, there is a speed breaker on the road. So our motorbike has a shock absorber. So what it does, it gives the reverse this thing and it absorbs all the things, shock. Otherwise, what happens? It will damage the motorbike. So like that, what I will apply reverse force. So exactly reverse thought process I will develop in me. If I have to conquer anger, I will develop reverse thought process in my mind, so that my anger will be. So always, if I practice calming, more benevolent, more compassionate thoughts continuously, I have to exert on myself. More explicitly, I have to become compassionate, calm, forgiving. Then what happens? I am counteracting those angry forces. Then this is the way to cure the weakness. So then we can understand this mind through different layers of the mind. So what are the layers of the mind that we have to understand? That this body is not the mind. Body is separate, mind is separate. This body is just the packaging, just a cover through which we are so much attached and attracted and caught up in this body, physical covering, that we forget that there is something deeper and something more beautiful inside us. So we are more caught up in the package. So like just suppose somebody gets an Amazon package, he receives, and it's just so beautifully packed and wonderfully everything is nicely decorated. Then that person is not able to open that package because he's so much, I cannot open it. So beautiful it is. The package is so nice. I cannot open this because opening means I'm tearing everything and destroying the package. No, let me keep it as it is. And somebody has sent you much more beautiful thing inside. But what you thought, every day you are looking at the package. No, let me not open it. So beautiful. It looks very nice. So this happens with us. What we are doing is, we are so much caught up in the body, physical body, that in the mind nobody is bothered about. To cultivating the beautiful qualities of the mind, nobody is bothered about. So that is what the thing is. Inner content of the mind is more important rather than just the external packaging. The packaging can be anything. Packaging, the purpose of packaging is to protect and keep intact the inner content. Now that is the only utility of the packaging. But what is that happening now? The packaging has become main thing and inside content has lost its meaning. So people are only caught up in protecting the packaging. So any questions?
Where do the things like lust, anger, jealousy, sympathy, empathy, altruism, where do they manifest from? What is the source?
See, this mind is there. We saw thoughts, emotions, buddhi does processing, chitta is memory. So now what happens is, you have in your past, you have done these things. Your chitta is a memory, a hard disk is there. Now when you open the computer, on the desktop, there are so many files are there. Shortcuts are there. So if you ask, where do these files exist? Where do they come from? They come from the memory. Is it not? They are in the memory. You will tell, I did not see them just a while back. Why? Because your computer was not on. The moment you switched on your computer, then you saw those files. Just like that, the moment you start evolving, you start growing, then your one by one files started opening up. Your memory started throwing so many different files on your desktop or your in your processor, and then you suddenly get bewildered. I don't know where from this came. It was always there in your hard disk. How it came in your hard disk? Because it in your past you have undergone those things in those situations or those circumstances. So you have those impressions saved in your hard disk. So because of that impressions, you are getting these lustful thoughts, you are getting this anger, you are getting this jealousy because you have been under their influence in before. They are just repeating, cyclical. This whole existence, it is cyclically going on. That's why it is called samsara.
So you're trying to say that our parents or society is like that, so we are imprint of it.
Not only your parents and society, you yourself also like that. You are not. This thing is not coming from their memory. It is coming from your memory.
Because we are experiencing them, so that we are.
You are not only experiencing them now. You have experiencing them in the past also.
Correct.
In the past birth also. In the 1,000 years back, millions of years back, again and again, you have been experiencing those things. That's why they are coming in, again and again, coming up. And that's why you are subservient to them. That's why you are slave of them. Why you have become slave of lust? Because you have been the slave of lust for not now, for thousands of years. That's what Swamiji says. Come out of this slavery. One day or the other, you have to. And what is your great topic is today? Mastery. So this mastery, why this very idea of mastery came to you? Because you have been a slave. You are just a slave in the hands of all these powers. So, but now you are somehow, by the grace of God, this idea of becoming a master has come to you. And that's why we are discussing.
So how do you remain inert to various situations and give your best at every point?
Inert means it. Inert means what? You will become a dead thing. Just like the Swami says, this wall. This wall has never felt any success or failure or anything. But this is a wall. So you want to become a wall. Inert means?
No, sir. Not affected.
Yes, I'm not going to continue. Yes.
Like not affected.
Not affected. That means when you are always in the self, when you know your true self, that which is beyond these successes and failures, beyond these sorrows and miseries and humiliations and insults, then what happens? Then you fall back upon that self, and then you don't have anything to worry about, anything that affects you. What Bhagavan says to Arjuna in Bhagavad Gita, that yad labdva cha aparam labham manyate nadikam tata yasmin sthito na dukkhena guranapi vichalyate. What does this mean? That by attaining which yad labdva, by attaining which cha aparam labham, the more higher labha means attainment. Manyate na adhikam tataha, that there is no other higher attainment than attaining this. After attaining such a thing, what? Yasmin sthito, after attaining this, after going into that state, na dukkhena guranapi vichalyate. Even if the mountain high sorrow comes to you, you won't feel affected. So that is what is the state. That is what the Sri Krishna is telling Arjuna, that Arjuna, attain that state of mind, by attaining which even a mountain of sorrow will feel like nothing to you. That is.
Sir, is ego and selfishness same, sir?
So ego is the basis of selfishness. Selfishness is a manifestation of unripe ego, of immature ego.
How to be present? Like we worry a lot about our weakness. How to be present?
So if you expand your mind all the time, expansion of mind, then what happens? Then that expansion will take that past and future also in the present. Why? You have made your mind so narrow, so tiny, that even 1 second before moment becomes a past for you. But if you make your mind great, universal, which goes beyond time and space, always thinks about lofty things which are always beyond time and space, then what happens? the past becomes present for you, and future also becomes present. Why? Because suppose you have a torch. Nowadays, you get a torch in wherein you can manipulate the focus of that torch. You can have a wide focus and you can have a narrow focus. So if you manipulate that torch so that the focus becomes narrow, then what happens? Even the nearby things becomes out of the scope of that torch, out of the light zone, and it becomes darkness. But if you take that, manipulate it, that it covers the larger area, then wide things come into the light zone. Everything you can see at once. So if you take back your mind, you're beyond this little time and space limitation, then at one shot you can see the vast panorama of past and future. Then you both are in your present also. Could you get some sense of what I'm saying? Does it make some sense to you? No. Huh? Yeah. Okay. Okay, sure.
So, hey guys, we would like to officially wrap up the session. And just some few things. If anyone has any more questions, you can talk with Maharaji. He will be there in the top group. And also, while getting out, please do not make any crowd. We have and some refreshments for all of you. Please go in a.
Just first, clap for Swami. Clap for yourself now. Thank you again. Swami ji, आपका बहुत धन्यवाद. You are thinking that directly you are not getting. Just I initiated the. I was telling to you. आप लोग ऐसा कुछ नहीं है कि आप डायरेक्टली कुछ गेट कर रहे हैं यहाँ से या कुछ कोड मिल रहा है आपको या कुछ टेक्नोलॉजी या टूल्स मिल रहा है. It's not like that. In your subconscious mind, it is feeding. Like Swami ji saying, satsang. So आपको information मिलती जा रही है. Now it is unknowingly it is guiding you in your life. So we are blessed that we are here. Okay. So thank you very much, all of you. Thank you very much.